Let go. Just let go. Detach. And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by let go? It sounds easy, right? Oh, just let go. Let go. It's easy. Let go. No, it's not. Because when it comes to our mind, things are never that simple. No, I'm not gonna say unfortunately, but things are never that simple. Fortunately, for us. Detach. And what do I mean? What should we let go of? What have I let go of? I've started to learn to let go of the external. Letting go of things that are outside of my control. Letting go of all of the materialistic items. We'll get into that a little later. Letting go of what people think about me. We'll get to that later because that is something I'm dealing with right now. Letting go about what they say about me. Letting go of the results I get. Letting go of the future. Letting go of my old self. That's what I mean by let go. A lot of these things we hold on to, right? Especially our ego. Our ego loves this. Our ego loves to hold on. Our ego loves the external validation, the materialistic items. Let's get into the ego. So what does the ego do? The ego is basically a big mask. As you grew up, maybe subconsciously this happened. Your subconscious realized that there was parts of you that you didn't like. Of course, we're not perfect. So there was parts that your brain realized, I don't like this about me. So the ego came in and overcompensated. It filled in fake holes. Let's say there's holes in your armor, right? Your identity. Let's say your identity, that's your armor. And there's some holes in it. There's some chinks. There's some scratches. There's some cracks. And what does the ego do? The ego tries its best to replace those cracks with something artificial. Your ego is really not your authentic self. It is only a projection of the things that you do not like about yourself. We'll make this quick, but for example, an arrogant person, right? On surface level, they come out as very confident, very cocky, very arrogant, very prideful, right? They defend themselves and they think that what they're doing is the best, right? But these people are often very emotional. It is very easy to get a rise out of them. There is a lot of cracks in their armor, a lot of holes in their armor, and they're able to be poked very easily. And that is one of the best representations of the ego, because on the surface level, they're very confident, right? So what you say about an arrogant person shouldn't matter. But based on the way they react, that triggers their ego. Because under that mask, under that armor, they're very insecure, and that's why it's so easy to get a rise out of them. And they realized this, so what their ego did, filled up that hole with arrogance. So that's just an example. That's kind of to maybe help you guys understand your ego, this and that, whatever. That's just an example how our ego tries to overcompensate, right? And because it overcompensates, it often attaches to things outside of us to make us feel whole. I already talked about this in a separate video, how the external can never heal the internal. And that is what the ego tries to do. So with me, we're going to go over two examples. The first one. When I was younger, I was really into materialistic items. Name brands. Supreme, Bape, $300 shoes, $400 shoes, you name it. All the expensive clothing, right? I was attracted to it. And at the time, I think it genuinely started off as I was a little kid and I was watching YouTubers, I was influenced. I was like, okay, like I like these shoes, I like these shirts, like that's kind of the culture, so I wanted to get into the culture, right? But looking back, growing up, especially in high school, something inside of me labeled these materialistic items I owned as valuable, and not in money. Valuable as in I let them hold my self-value. So if I was wearing an expensive shirt and expensive shoes, I was confident that day. I was walking around like I was the man. Because subconsciously, like I said, this happened subconsciously. I didn't value myself on who I was. I didn't value that, right? So I reached for the external, expensive shirts, expensive shoes to fill that lack of self-value within me. And this happened for years, and I was unconscious to it. At the time, I was unconscious to it. I didn't realize this. But looking back, I can definitely say that's the case. I was overcompensating for my low self-value with expensive items. And I think one day, in this case, like one day I was just like, why am I doing? Like, why am I buying $100 shirts? Like, why? I just started questioning myself. Like, why am I doing? Like, why am I interested in $100 shirt with the gorilla on the front of the shirt? Or why am I interested in an $80 shirt that says Supreme on it? Like, why do I like that stuff? And I realized because it gives me value. So I had to learn to detach from that. I had to let go of it. Obviously, I still like clothes. I like dressing nice, right? But just, that's what I'm saying. Letting go of those materialistic things, to me, is kind of a sign, a signal that I now value myself. That I don't need expensive clothing to give me value. Now, instead of looking for it externally, that situation has taught me that all the self-value I need is inside of me and from no one else, right? But that kind of takes me into my next point. I came to this realization, right? But now, next point. How people perceive me. That is what I'm going through right now. That is what I'm going through right now. I'm in the midst of it, caring about how people perceive me. I would say I don't care what people think about me, but I care about how they perceive me. And I will explain. I'm not even sure 100% the difference, but there is a difference there. But I've realized that as much as I don't want to admit it, there is a part of me that cares what people think about me. There just is. And before I told myself, like, oh, I don't care what no one thinks about me. I don't care what no one thinks about me. Which is true to an extent. Like, if someone doesn't like my outfit, I'm going to wear that outfit. I don't care. If someone doesn't like my haircut, I'm not switching my haircut. If someone doesn't like the cologne, I don't really wear cologne, but if someone didn't like the cologne I was wearing, I don't care. I'm going to still wear it. I'm not going to wear what everyone else wears. I'm going to wear what I want to wear because I don't care what people think about me. And that is true. But there's also this other part of me, right, that cares. And for years, I'll be honest, for years I didn't want to admit this to myself. The ego did not want to admit it. That's what I'm saying. The ego did not want to admit this. It didn't want to be exposed. It wanted to keep the mask on because that is comfortable. And my brain, like yours too, wants to be comfortable. So, I realized that I obviously don't know what people think about me. I don't know the full extent into what people think about me, right? Of course, no one does. So what my brain has done subconsciously, it has tried to fill those holes of uncertainty with what I think they're perceiving me as. So I really don't care what they think about me, but I care about what they think about me. I don't know if that makes sense. I'm telling you guys, I'm still in the process of it. And, this channel is meant to relate to you guys and to show you that, like, we all got some stuff going on with us, no one's perfect. So I'm still in the midst of this, right? But because of this care, I've realized that sometimes I act different. I act. That's what it is. I act. I act as something inauthentic. And it's just the little minor things, the little nuances, you know? It's not like I'm a fake person. I'm still authentic. But there is parts of me that do act. And like I said, I'm still in the process. I've said that like 50 times, but I'm still in the process. But I've realized that because of this care, right? Because of this care of perception that I have, I try to act different in order for that perception that in the end my brain is coming up with. I want that perception to like boost, to raise. I want a higher perception. I want people to perceive me highly. So now I act in that way that I think is going to perceive me highly. That's what it is. And I've been doing this kind of unconsciously. But it came to a point where I realized like I care about what people think about me. And I don't think that's a bad thing to care about what people think about you, of course. But now when this care it gets to a point where now you're acting inauthentically. Now you're letting the external factors, other people and what they think, control you, control what's happening internally. And for me, when I realized that, I was like, no, 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 like that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna fix this because to me, I want to be authentic as possible, and I don't want to act because of what other people think about me. To me, I think that's just weak it's almost insecure when you have to act in order to please other people. And I think you don't get the best results out of life when you act to please other people. Because if they don't accept you for who you are, then who can, like, screw them. Like, you don't want those relationships in your life. And I realized that I've been low-key acting sometimes, you know? And that's something I do want to fix. So now, let's say when I'm in public and I realize that I'm kind of doing an act, you know? And that could be in anything, you know? Maybe to fit in, or to be more attractive, or to get to know somebody, or anything, to seem better than what you are in a certain skill set, right? Pride. I've realized sometimes when I'm acting and I just ask myself, like, why are you acting? Like, what are you thinking of inside that is now making you act differently? And as of right now, what I'm doing, I think the first step to kind of like healing, I guess, I don't know. The first step, at least for me, is to just become aware, become conscious of what I am doing and admitting to it. As uncomfortable, as painful as it may seem, because I didn't do it for years, I didn't admit to myself that I was acting for years. I just admit it. I become aware, I become conscious. I think, okay, what thought made you act in this way? And doing that already is a big step, because that just helps me kind of like calm down, get myself out of the act, and start being authentic. You know? And it's something that, like, I'll be honest, I'm not gonna tell you guys like advice that is gonna like work, because I'm still figuring out. You know, I think the whole point of life is you gotta experiment. You know, when you realize there's things you don't like about yourself, you gotta experiment. And right now, I'm experimenting. I'm figuring out what situations, what people are around me. Why is that making me act different? What do I not value within myself that my ego now is having me act out? What is it? And it's just about finding answers and becoming aware. And like I'm saying, let go. That's what I'm doing. I'm learning to let go. I let go of the materialistic values, the materialistic clothing and shoes. Great. But now there's more to let go of. You know, in my room, before my room was kind of a mess, I had a lot of things. I let go of all of that because I realized that I didn't need any of that. That was just unnecessary space taking up my room. So now I'm learning to let go about what other people think of me. And it's a process. It's a journey. But I'm embracing the journey. I'm not feeling shameful or guilty for acting. Because that's just what my ego did in order to protect myself. You know? Your ego often turns you into kind of like a repulsive person, a fake person. But the ego it's just trying to protect you at the end of the day. So if you realize there's traits about you that you don't like about your ego, don't feel bad. Because at the time you did what was best for yourself. You did what felt safe. And you can't blame yourself for trying to be safe. You can't. So let go. Just let go. That's the topic for today. Learning to detach. And one more thing. Also about detachment. I already made a video about this, but I'm trying to detach from the results I am getting in life. Especially when it comes to the YouTube, you know. I hear this voice in my head that wants to be triggered when I don't get a lot of views. That wants to be triggered when the subscriber count is not going up. There's a voice that wants to be triggered, but there's another voice that's like, yo, calm down. You can't control your subscribers, and detach. And once you detach, life becomes a lot more peaceful, because you're not relying on any external factors to do anything for you. No external factors can move you. It is all internal. You are in control. So, let go. If you've made it in this video, appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that. Thank you for listening.